To effectively enhance safety in any operation, operators need to have a true and consistent picture of what's happening in the front lines on a day-to-day basis. Comparing work as imagined to work as actually done can be a powerful safety tool, ensuring the right support is in place for safety-critical tasks carried out by frontline crews.
The LOSA process, or the Line Operations Safety Audits, they fill a missing link. We have the Flight Data Monitoring Program looking at how the aircraft is being flown. We have our simulators and training so we can see what people are doing under pressure. What we don't have is a clear understanding of exactly how things are being done on the line. And what we're really interested in is how well the procedures that we've written actually translate to line operations. So we can write things with the best of intentions and they're either interpreted incorrectly or we've written them in such a way that they're very difficult to comply with, and so people create shortcuts.
The current methods of reporting flight safety issues are really effective in capturing flight issues as they occur, but by their nature they're only reactive. You only get an insight into what's happening once an incident's taken place. The key difference with the LOSA program is that it almost provides a live snapshot of how the operation is performing, and it gives the operator an ability to put in improvement processes before the weak areas become bigger problems.
If they fly with a trainer, whether in the aircraft or in the simulator, they know they're being watched, they know they're being examined, and so they are putting more effort into making sure they do things right.
It's done totally independently outside of the training function or management function. So the benefit of that is we don't see angel-like behavior that you'd get maybe in the simulator or when you have a training or management function present. It's very much just a case of pilots monitoring other pilots to see what's working and what's not working.
While we should be driven to perfection every day, that's not realistic. So on an everyday basis, 10 days in a row doing the same operation, there is the norm that sets in, and we want to identify the errors that occur during a normal operation.
Several parties need to work together to make the LOSA process effective. To establish a LOSA process, the operator needs the cooperation of its own flight crew, both to be observed and to do the observing. Plus, their customers need to support the move, since it means that one less passenger can be carried on each flight. The collection and processing of data gathered needs to be handled in a way that maintains confidentiality for all participants.
Start out by training voluntary pilots from the line to be observers. When the observers do their observation, they don't make a note of what flight it was, they don't make a note of who are the pilots, nothing of that goes into the report.
The key thing is that the software doesn't capture any of the crew names or the flight details. And it's really important to note that all the data that's captured is totally confidential. There's no way that either the LOSA collaborative or the operator itself can actually ascertain what happened on what flight.
By systematically gathering data from multiple flights, operators should get the most complete and objective assessment of what's really happening in frontline operations day by day, and also the most relevant indications as to what changes might need to be made to enhance safety.
The kind of things that we would expect to see from a LOSA are things that we haven't already covered. So if we've written a procedure for it, trained it, assessed it, have it in our FDM program, we might be fine-tuning it. What we're really interested in are the things we haven't thought of.
One of the other things that we found in regards to undesired aircraft states was pilots might be inputting something into the GPS or carrying out an action, but failing to let the other pilot know what they were doing. That could mean an error could end up slipping into that process without it being picked up. As a result of that, what we've done is we've rolled out an improved pilot monitoring course across all fleets and an introduction of standardized calls. And what that will hopefully do is make these cross-verification issues reduce in their level of occurrence.
And that's where we get some of the benefits if, let's say, we in the manual have written, this is what you're supposed to do in this case. And we've always done that, but we haven't really analyzed whether this is actually what's being done in the cockpit. It's just written, but there's non-compliance because all the guys do something different.
We, as an operator, get a whole bunch of data back, which shows us there were so-and-so numbers of errors or threats, procedures which were or were not complied with, and we can go away and look at that data. We can then say, well, the procedure says this, all the crews are doing this. This is a workaround that they've obviously decided to use. Why is it a workaround? Well, actually, is it because the procedure is wrong in the first place and we need to retrain them?
And what the LOSA process enables us to do is compare ourselves to the airlines. And one point that we found as a result of the LOSA process was that the number of undesired aircraft states within our operation was actually lower than the airline average. And so that gives us a good sense that our operation is in a healthy place.
A line-oriented safety audit campaign should be followed up, first of all, by the report. The report contains the feedback and the data of what errors were found. The follow-up that comes from that is a feedback to the training department, where training or the standards department to determine what else to do about the organization to fix those errors. And ultimately, once those are rewritten and retrained and been used on the line for a while, a follow-up LOSA is very helpful to determine if the objectives that the company made out of the previous findings were achieved. And if they were not achieved, what else to do about them, or if they were achieved in some measure, if that was sufficient or another LOSA needs to be conducted.